Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, picture this. You sit down at the very end of your day, look at the clock, and think to yourself, wait, where on earth did the day go? You had this massive plan, you felt totally busy from the minute you woke up, but when you check your actual progress, you've barely moved the needle. We kind of tend to think time just naturally passes us by, but what if there's a much more sinister explanation?
We really need to reframe how we look at our daily lives. I want you to view the loss of your time not as just the clock ticking away, but as a highly sophisticated, high-stakes heist happening right under our noses, literally right in front of our eyes. Every single day, minutes and hours are being secretly siphoned away from your life. So the big question we need to answer today is, who exactly is pulling off this heist?
Let's kick things off with part 1, the mystery of lost time.
And that brings us to part 2, diving into our first group of suspects, external thieves, or our surrounding distractions. Imagine for a second that your time is hard currency. Every single day, exactly 24 hours get deposited into your account, and it's just smoothly stolen from us without us even feeling the pinch. Look at this. 47 seconds. That is the shocking forensic evidence from researchers at the University of California, Irvine. They found that the average office worker focuses on one screen or a single task for only 47 seconds before switching to something else. Less than a minute. We're just constantly interrupting ourselves or letting our environment do it for us. And the cost of that theft is incredibly heavy. Think about it. Once you break that 47-second focus, say you just do a quick glance at a chat notification that says, hey, it takes an average of over 23 minutes to fully regain your deep cognitive focus. 23 minutes. That means every tiny, seemingly harmless interruption is actually a massive, massive withdrawal from your daily time bank. To put that into perspective, just look at this data from the Microsoft Work Trend Index. The meeting thief is absolutely rampant. A staggering 57% of our workday is swallowed whole by communication. Emails, chats, meetings. That leaves less than half, only 43%, for your actual creative, productive, deep work. Even worse, internal surveys almost always show that unnecessary meetings are the absolute #1 waste of our precious time. So these external culprits use convenience and highly tuned algorithms to completely hijack your attention. The notification thief gets us to check our phones an average of 96 times a day. That is almost once every 10 minutes. Then you have the open office thief, which masquerades as this great collaborative space, but actually causes 73% more interruptions. And let's not forget the multitasking thief, which tricks our brains into thinking we're getting more done, when really it's just degrading our cognitive filters. Put all these external bandits together, and they're costing the U.S. economy an estimated $588 billion a year in lost productivity. Insane, right?
But here's the catch. We've blamed our phones, our bosses, the office layouts. But if we completely remove all of those external factors, we still lose time. So who is the enemy within?
That leads us perfectly into part 3, internal thieves, the enemy within.
See, we constantly blame our external environment, but things like procrastination, they aren't really just about being lazy. They're actually emotional coping strategies we unconsciously use to avoid tasks that trigger stress. We swap out hard work for a quick, instant dopamine hit. Which brings us to a huge concept, Parkinson's Law. It states that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. Basically, if you give yourself a week to finish a project, it takes a week. Give yourself 3 hours, and miraculously, it takes 3 hours. Your brain unconsciously fills those loose deadlines with unnecessary filler activities, which literally steals hours of true productivity right from under you. And this internal network of thieves is highly organized. Just look at this breakdown. Procrastination steals an estimated 55 days a year just by delaying things for instant gratification. 55 days! Then there's perfectionism. Its MO is trapping you in a cycle of diminishing returns. Spending 3 hours tweaking a presentation slide that was already good enough, causing all your other projects to be neglected. And finally, decision fatigue. It completely exhausts your cognitive energy on tiny, meaningless choices, leaving your brain so drained that it defaults to poor fallback choices, like mindless scrolling instead of working out or reading.
Moving on to part 4, the hidden impact of time poverty.
The psychological toll of this heist goes way beyond just missed deadlines. Researchers at Harvard Business School actually defined this phenomenon as time poverty, and it leads directly to heightened anxiety and poor life choices. The author Bridget Schultz has a perfect term for the result of this: time confetti. I love this analogy. Imagine taking an hour of beautiful, restorative free time and putting it straight through a paper shredder. Instead of a solid block of rest, You're left with tiny, stressful 1-minute increments between checking emails and responding to texts. You never actually detach. You never really rest. Your free time becomes completely unusable.
Okay, so how do we fix it? Part 5, Strategies to Reclaim Your Time. It's time to equip ourselves and lock the vault. I want you to consider the stark contrast here between the manager's schedule and the maker's schedule. It's a really cool concept popularized by Paul Graham. The manager's schedule is heavily fragmented into hourly chunks for meetings and check-ins. But if you want to do meaningful, creative, deep work, you absolutely need the maker's schedule. It demands long, uninterrupted focus blocks of 3 to 4 hours. Because let's be real, you cannot write a book, code software, or design a master plan in 15-minute intervals between Zoom calls.
So here's a tactical step-by-step plan to fight back. First, apply the Eisenhower matrix to filter out all those tasks that feel urgent but are completely unimportant. Second, implement time blocking. Actually lock in 90-minute focus sessions where your phone is literally in another room. Third, build cost fences. This means adding friction to your bad habits, like using website blockers so you literally can't open social media. And fourth, this one's clever, deliberately practice scheduled distractions. Give your brain a planned 15 minutes to be totally distracted. That way you control the interruption, not the algorithm.
Furthermore, we've got to train the brain. Practice mindfulness to master the art of single tasking. Seriously, multitasking is a complete myth. Single tasking is a superpower. And critically, conduct routine weekly time audits. Treat your time exactly like a corporate budget. Just track your hours for one single week and ruthlessly expose exactly where your hours are leaking. I promise you will be absolutely stunned by what the data shows you. Bringing us to our final section, Part 6, Protecting Time, Protecting Life. Ultimately, fiercely protecting your time is an act of immense courage. It's about redefining your priorities and having the sheer willpower to lock out those invisible bandits. There's this profound observation from the philosopher Seneca, written thousands of years ago, but it hits right to the heart of our modern problem. He said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." He reminds us that the greatest casualty of time theft isn't just lost workplace productivity. The real tragedy? It's the unlived memories, the unread books, the neglected passions, and the dreams that were slowly bled dry by thousands of tiny, meaningless distractions. So I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Ask yourself every single time you reflexively pick up your phone or say yes to a meaningless task, is this wasting my time or is it growing my life? Are you letting your life be stolen one notification at a time, or are you taking it back? The choice and the time is yours. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and seriously, I highly recommend doing that time audit this week to see exactly what you uncover.